Imagine riding your bike down a familiar road on a perfect September morning. The sun is shining. You've taken this route hundreds of times. Your mom is expecting you home for lunch, but you never make it. You simply vanish into thin air. And then, a year later, a mysterious Polaroid photograph surfaces in a Florida parking lot, showing what appears to be you and another missing child, bound and gagged in the back of a van. This isn't fiction. This is the haunting true story of Tara Calico, and what happened to her remains one of America's most disturbing unsolved mysteries. Tara Lee Calico was everything a small-town New Mexico girl should be: vibrant, intelligent, and full of dreams. At 19 years old, she was a sophomore at the University of New Mexico in Valencia, studying psychology with aspirations of becoming a psychiatrist. Those who knew her described Tara as beautiful, with striking features, long brown hair, and an infectious smile that could light up any room. She was dating her boyfriend, Chris Byers, and the two were planning a future together. Tara loved music, particularly Boston and the Eagles. She enjoyed playing the piano and had a close relationship with her family, especially her mother, Patty Dole. Life in Belen, New Mexico, a quiet community of about 7,000 people located 35 miles south of Albuquerque, seemed safe and predictable. Tara was also dedicated to staying fit. Nearly every morning, she would ride her pink Huffy 10-speed bicycle along New Mexico State Road 47, a straight, desolate highway that cut through the high desert landscape. It was her routine, her meditation, her way of starting the day. But on September 20th, 1988, that routine would lead to something unthinkable. September 20th dawned bright and warm, a typical early autumn morning in central New Mexico. Tara woke up that Tuesday with plans to go biking before meeting her boyfriend later that afternoon to play tennis. Around 9:30 a.m., she grabbed her Sony Walkman, loaded it with her favorite cassette tape, and headed out the door on her pink bicycle. Before she left, her mother Patty made an unusual request. She asked Tara to be home by noon because she had an uneasy feeling that morning. Patty had been worried about Tara's solo bike rides for some time. In fact, she had previously asked her daughter to carry mace with her after hearing reports of a motorist harassing cyclists on that very road. Tara had encountered this vehicle herself on a previous ride, a light-colored, older pickup truck that had followed her too closely, making her uncomfortable enough to mention it to her mother. Tara assured her mom she'd be back by noon. She pedaled off down State Road 47, heading south, her Walkman headphones covering her ears, music drowning out the world around her. She would never be seen again. As Tara rode along the desolate highway that morning, at least two witnesses noticed something disturbing. Around 11:45 a.m., a motorist reported seeing a young woman matching Tara's description riding her bike southbound on Highway 47, approximately 9 miles from her home near the intersection with Route 116. The witness specifically remembered seeing a light-colored, older model Ford pickup truck with a camper shell following closely behind the cyclist. Too closely. Another witness came forward later, reporting they had seen what appeared to be the same pickup truck pulled over to the side of the road in that area, with a bicycle lying nearby. But by the time this information reached police, precious hours had already been lost. When Tara didn't return home by noon as promised, Patty Dole knew something was terribly wrong. Her daughter was reliable, responsible. She would never just not show up. By 12:30 p.m., Patty was already calling the police. By 2 p.m., search efforts were underway, but Tara Calico had vanished without a trace. Law enforcement responded quickly to the disappearance report, which was unusual for the time period when missing young adults were often dismissed as runaways. The Valencia County Sheriff's Department immediately recognized this case as suspicious. Tara was a responsible college student with no reason to run away. She had left her wallet, identification, and car at home. She was expected for tennis practice. Everything about the situation screamed foul play. Search teams combed the desert landscape along Highway 47 for any sign of Tara or her bicycle. Helicopters circled overhead. Volunteers walked shoulder to shoulder through the scrubland and arroyos. The FBI was brought in.
Bloodhounds tracked her scent but lost it at a spot along the highway, suggesting she had been picked up by a vehicle. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Despite the witness reports of the suspicious pickup truck, investigators couldn't locate the vehicle or identify a suspect. Tips poured in from across the country, each one leading nowhere. Patty Dole appeared on national television programs, pleading for information about her daughter. The case was featured on Unsolved Mysteries and other true crime shows, but Tara remained missing. Her pink bicycle was never found. No physical evidence was recovered. It was as if she had been swallowed whole by the New Mexico desert. Then, in June 1989, 9 months after Tara vanished, something shocking emerged that would change everything.
On June 15, 1989, a woman walked out to her car in the parking lot of a convenience store in Port St. Joe, Florida, more than 1,600 miles from where Tara disappeared. There, lying on the ground near her van, was a Polaroid photograph. What she saw in that photo would horrify her and eventually make international headlines. The Polaroid showed 2 young people lying side by side, apparently in the back of a van or vehicle. A teenage girl with long dark hair and a younger boy, both bound with tape, their mouths gagged. The girl's hands appeared to be tied behind her back. Both had looks of fear in their eyes. Paperback books were scattered around them, including one titled My Sweet Audrina by V.C. Andrews, a book Tara Calico had been reading shortly before her disappearance. The photo was terrifying in its implications. These weren't just missing people, these were captives, prisoners, victims. The woman immediately turned the photograph over to police, and within days it reached the FBI. When investigators showed the photo to Patty Dole, she broke down. She was convinced the girl in the photograph was her daughter. She recognized facial features, a distinctive scar on the girl's leg that matched one Tara had sustained in a car accident years earlier. Scotland Yard analyzed the photograph and determined the girl bore a striking resemblance to Tara Calico. However, the FBI remained cautious, stating they could not definitively confirm it was her. Forensic analysis showed the photograph had been taken using a Polaroid camera available in 1989, and the degradation of the image suggested it had been taken recently before being found. But who was the boy in the photograph? Investigators believed it might be Michael Henley, a 9-year-old boy who had disappeared from a camping trip with his father in New Mexico's Zuni Mountains in April 1988, 5 months before Tara vanished. Michael's parents also believed the boy in the photo was their son. The case exploded into the national consciousness. The Polaroid was published in newspapers and shown on television programs across America. Tips flooded in by the thousands. People reported seeing similar vans, recognizing the background details in the photo, claiming to have information about who might have taken it. Then came another devastating development. In 1990, Michael Henley's remains were found near where he had disappeared in the Zuni Mountains. He had apparently died of exposure after wandering away from the campsite. He had never been abducted at all, which meant the boy in the Polaroid wasn't Michael Henley. So if the girl in the photo was Tara Calico, who was the boy, and where were they being held? And most haunting of all, were they still alive? Over the decades, multiple theories have emerged about what happened to Tara Calico that September morning. Some investigators believe Tara might have been struck by a vehicle, possibly driven by someone local who panicked and either hid her body or accidentally killed her and covered it up. This theory gained traction when rumors circulated about local young men playing a game where they would harass cyclists on Highway 47, sometimes getting dangerously close. According to this theory, what started as harassment turned tragic, and the perpetrators disposed of Tara's body in the vast desert or possibly buried her on private property. In fact, 2 local men reportedly told others at a party shortly after Tara's disappearance that they knew what happened to her. One allegedly said they had gotten rid of a cyclist. However, these men were never charged, and despite multiple investigations, no physical evidence tied them to the crime. The Polaroid photograph suggested a far more sinister scenario, that Tara was abducted by a sexual predator who held her captive, possibly for years. The presence of the mysterious boy in the photograph suggested this might have been a serial offender who collected victims. This theory was supported by the witness accounts of the suspicious pickup truck following Tara shortly before she disappeared. In the late 1990s, the arrest of David Parker Ray, a serial killer known as the Toy Box Killer who operated in New Mexico, briefly renewed interest in Tara's case. Ray had a soundproof trailer where he tortured and killed numerous women. However, investigators found no concrete evidence linking Ray to Tara's disappearance, and he died in prison in 2002 without confessing to her abduction. Over the years, 2 more Polaroid photographs surfaced that some believed showed Tara and other captives. One showed a woman resembling an older Tara, gagged and bound. Another showed multiple people in what appeared to be a similar captive situation. However, none of these photographs could be definitively authenticated, and skeptics argued they might be hoaxes or simply showed other victims of other crimes.
Through it all, Patty Dole never gave up hope. She dedicated her life to finding her daughter, appearing on television programs, maintaining a website, following up on every tip, no matter how far-fetched. She kept Tara's room exactly as it was the day she disappeared, waiting for her daughter to come home. Patty criticized the initial investigation, claiming that crucial early hours were wasted and that local law enforcement didn't take the witness reports of the pickup truck seriously enough. She believed that if they had acted more quickly, they might have found the vehicle and her daughter. The community of Belen was forever changed by Tara's disappearance. Parents became more protective of their children. The innocence of their small town had been shattered. Highway 47 became known as a dangerous road, a place where something terrible had happened, where a young woman had been stolen from her community in broad daylight. Patty Dole passed away in 2006 at the age of 71, never knowing what happened to her daughter. Her death was attributed to a broken heart by those who knew her. She had spent the last 18 years of her life searching for answers that never came. More than 36 years after Tara Calico rode her pink bicycle down Highway 47, the questions remain agonizingly unanswered. Was the girl in the Polaroid really Tara? If so, where was the photograph taken? Who took it? Why was it left in that Florida parking lot? Was someone trying to communicate that Tara was alive, or was it a cruel taunt from a killer? If it wasn't Tara in the photograph, then who was that girl, and what happened to her? Has her family been searching for her all these years too? Who was the boy in the photograph if it wasn't Michael Henley? Is he still out there somewhere, or did he meet a terrible fate? Did the men who allegedly confessed at that party really know what happened, or were they just making sick jokes? Were they ever properly investigated? Was Tara the victim of a tragic accident covered up by frightened locals, or was she abducted by a predator who might have taken other victims? Is Tara Calico's body buried somewhere in the New Mexico desert, or was she held captive for years after her disappearance? The case remains officially open. The Valencia County Sheriff's Department still receives tips periodically. Advances in forensic technology have allowed investigators to re-examine evidence with fresh eyes, but so far, nothing has broken the case wide open.
Today, a memorial marker stands along Highway 47 where Tara Calico was last seen, placed there by her mother before she died. Fresh flowers still appear there regularly, left by people who remember, who care, who refuse to let Tara's story fade into obscurity. If Tara Calico is still alive today, she would be 56 years old. Somewhere out there, there might be a woman who doesn't remember her own name, who doesn't know that her mother searched for her until her dying breath, who doesn't know that thousands of people across the country still wonder what happened to her on that September morning. Or perhaps Tara's story ended on Highway 47 that day, and her remains rest somewhere in the vast New Mexico landscape, waiting to be found, waiting to bring closure to a case that has haunted a community for more than 3 decades. What we do know is this:
On September 20, 1988, a 19-year-old girl with dreams and a future rode her bicycle down a familiar road and was erased from existence. Someone knows what happened. Someone saw something. Someone took her. And that person has lived with that secret for 36 years. Tara Calico's disappearance reminds us that evil doesn't always announce itself with thunder and darkness. Sometimes it comes on a bright Tuesday morning, on a road you've traveled 100 times before, when you're listening to your favorite song and planning your afternoon. The scariest part? It can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And sometimes the people who vanish leave behind nothing but questions, a photograph, and the haunting echo of what might have been. If you have any information about the disappearance of Tara Calico, please contact the Valencia County Sheriff's Department or the FBI. Even the smallest detail could finally bring answers to a case that has remained unsolved for over 3 decades.